Hello, and thank you again for joining us for the Cisco Live 2026 recap, covering all the announcements coming out of Cisco Live, AI advancements, security, and infrastructure updates that matter to you that you may have missed. My name's Edwin Dotson. I'm VP of Solutions Architecture for TSG West here at MGT, who's celebrating over 50 years of serving public sector and communities, providing impactful solutions and to meet their needs. We're trusted advisors with specialized solutions to provide a profound impact to the communities we serve. MGT, with our arm of TSG, is a national technology and advisory provider serving SLED clients across the country. We work with our clients to design and implement technologies that address their unique needs that we've seen in the public sector deployments. And our mission overall is to whatever we deploy, whatever we design, has an impact for the communities that are served and those end users. Once again, we are nationally recognized and locally focused, so serving the entire country with our local offices to provide the needs where our clients are, meet them where they're at, and understand the unique challenges they're facing in their regions, because that's where we live as well. As part of the technology solution groups, we offer end-to-end solutions, anywhere from the cabling all the way down to the end user, providing cybersecurity, network infrastructure, cloud data solutions in your data center, safety and security with our physical security and safety security products, unified communications, mass notification, power protection. So really, any of your technology needs, we can be here to help you deploy them, help you support them, and help you co-manage them if you need that assistance as well. We have multi-vendor expertise and solutions with all of our customers, right? So we're very in-depth in making all these technologies work together, regardless of what platform you're on. We offer end-to-end pre-sales design support through project management, through implementation, through managed services, and after and day two support, as well as being able to leverage several procurement vehicles across the United States to help you make your purchase without having to go through the rigorous bidding process and getting the solution you want and not having to compare apples to oranges. So let's talk about what you missed at Cisco Live, and I'll spare you my Maroon 5 impression and leave that up to YouTube. So what was the big picture from Cisco Live we saw? We saw four themes from Cisco Live. AI-powered operations, right? Enabling agentic AI to replace some of the day-to-day menial tasks your staff is currently doing to help you scale and serve your end users better. Building an AI-ready infrastructure, which allows you to power these AI initiatives, to take advantage of these agentic AI, while also building that security into the network, down at the switch level, down at the user level where it's important, and make sure you have the most secure network as you have more and more AI and more applications being introduced on your network. And then, of course, simplifying your hybrid operations and moving all of your operations into one management platform, so you're not having to bounce between multiple platforms to see your visibility, to understand what's going on in your network, to troubleshoot. And that's what really powers that agentic AI, be able to see all your network at once. So we see AI is moving your day-to-day IT operations. I'm sure you've heard AI over and over and over, so get ready and buckle up, because there will be more. But we're talking about AI on how we can simplify and automate some of your day-to-day IT operations, again, with that agentic AI, AI canvas, right? Unifying the workspace between the human and those agents, being able to collaborate with those AI agents and design and set your guardrails for them. Technology like Live Protect, being able to secure your network from zero-day vulnerabilities without full software upgrades, without network downtime. Being able to see experience metrics, because even in public sector organizations, the end user and their experience is the most important thing in your day-to-day job. And then deep reasoning, providing that root cause analysis on all your technologies, whether it's network, security, observability, data center, collaboration, being able to correlate and provide root cause analysis. And an emerging technology we're seeing is the digital twin, right? Being able to validate and test designs or changes or configurations in a virtual environment that simulates your environment, right? Simulate clients, simulate users. You see what experience your change is going to make and how that's going to affect them. So one of the big announcements was Cisco Cloud Control. And this is what powers Central's AI agentic ops, right? Unifying all of the Cisco platform, all the Cisco technology into one unified management and shared telemetry platform, right? So feeding data in from the network, from security, from observability platforms like Thousand Eyes, from compute, from collaboration, and correlating, collecting all that data into one central repository to allow you to be better informed and react better. Here's an example of Cisco Cloud Control, right? Giving you that unified platform, showing you what's going on your network, right? We're getting information from wireless, we're getting network information from routers, we're getting information from the network, from collaboration, and funneling all this information up into Cloud Control to be able to act on this information with all the information available to you on your network without having to dig around and look into different locations to get this information. And what agentic AI does, right, is moves a lot of those alerts to autonomous operation. Today, when you get an alert, you have to go dig in and investigate and go through and collect all the information to act on it. Well, enabling your AI agents to go out there with guardrails set by you, validated authority to make things, right, is the AI will observe the telemetry across the network and continuously monitor what's going on. If a problem arises, if an alert comes through, diagnose that problem, see what's causing that problem. Is it DHCP? Is it routing? Is it DNS? Is it network congestion? Is it application outage? So being able to diagnose and figure out what exactly is going on, recommends targeted remediated actions that you can either have the agent enable themselves, or you can take that remediated action, those recommendations as well, validate that against that digital twin we talked about, right? Creating a virtual environment, a virtual network, end users, clients. And then once that test has been validated, we can then deploy that into your network and solve any of those problems autonomously, again, with those guardrails built in and what you've allowed the agents to do, and whether or not you let the agents do all 1 through 5, or you have the agents do 1, 2, and 3, and then you do 4 and 5, right? So you have complete control over this. You're not turning your network over to AI. You're working with AI to take a lot of the menial tasks off you to get to a faster resolution. So for example, here's a AI agentic action for networking, right? The system collect all the data, Cloud Control ran the AI, they did the diagnosis, they determined the root cause analysis was rogue DHCP server, rogue radius server in this instance. So with trust and transparency and those guardrails set by you on what your AI agents are able to do, it's able to go in and say, we're going to quarantine this rogue server, and to give you some reasoning logs, give you the quarantine rogue server. And then from here, all you have to do is press apply. This is an example where you let AI do the heavy work, and then you just come in and apply its recommended changes once you validate that that is the case, and once you validate the information is accurate. And so you have that trust and transparency from the AI to be able to put these in place and automate and triage your network. And another big change and another big topic we've heard from customers in the past, right, is I don't want to move to a cloud management because I lose access to my CLI. I have granular control over my CLI. I like my CLI. Well, in the latest announcements available later this year, CLI profiles are coming to the Meraki dashboard, right? So being able to create your profiles that you apply now to your CLI in that same iOS language you're used to, being able to deploy that quickly to multiple switches, use dynamic templates to adapt configurations based on your network, based on the devices plugged in, things like that. And then you're able to maintain those familiar flows that you're used to today for managing those Cisco Catalyst devices on-prem with iOS, being able to move that into that cloud control, into that Meraki dashboard to be able to simplify and give you a greater visibility and greater control and a unified management platform. And bringing cloud management to iOS routers, right? In a lot of environments now, we still have those iOS XE routers out of the environment. Today, they have to be managed on-prem individually in a silo. Each router you have to go to, while your switches and wireless may be in the Meraki dashboard. Well, introducing the iOS XE routers into the dashboard, you now have that cloud management and full stack of visibility of those routers in the Meraki dashboard to make it more powerful than ever, right? So building those future-proof branches, being able to apply those securities, see that insight, see the troubleshoot quicker, right? When a router loses connection, you can alert to that. You can see that real time. You can engage your agentic AI to troubleshoot that, to look at that, what that is, and gather more information. And then Cisco has always been about security. So further infusing the security into the network, right? Talking about the AgenticOps that we talked about, layering that on top of technologies like hybrid mesh firewalling, zero trust access, scalable network segmentation, secure infrastructure, all unified by a common policy. So your agents are out there leveraging these technologies built into the Cisco hardware of today and of yesterday to use that same policy regardless of where the user is connecting or regardless of where you're applying the policy. You set one policy, and Cloud Control and the Cisco technologies apply that policy in each one of these technologies and what's relevant. You're not writing 4 different policies, you're writing one policy that's being applied to these technologies. Introducing features like Live Protect on smart switches for security, which we'll talk about in a second. Post-quantum cryptography for SD-WAN, right? With the increase in quantum computing and that increased horsepower, cryptography and encryption is important more than ever. So being able to be prepared for that extra horsepower that's going to be behind those attacks, being sure we can power those routers with those devices, and then putting secure firewall, a Cisco firewall on a secure router, right? So being able to extend that technology, that security out to your router and using that same common policy we talked about earlier. So let's talk about Live Protect for switches. What this allows you to do is when a vulnerability or a CVE is issued, we're able to go into the iOS code, iOS and iOS XE code, and patch that specific vulnerability, whether that's turning off a feature, whether that's implementing an access list, whether it's turning on a feature, whatever that CVE is designed and recommendation is, being able to put that in and either monitor or enforce for those exploits, right? So monitor to see if that exploit is being taken advantage of, or enforcing that and blocking whatever that exploit is immediately without having to down your switches, install new firmware, right? Install a patch, hope it tests it, validates it, make sure you get a gold image, right? We're able to make that change, that simple change to protect you from that vulnerability in real time. And then building a secure by default hardware. There's technology on switches today that was needed 35 years ago when switches were first rolled out, and they were industry standard, like Telnet, like FTP, like TFTP, like the web server of the switches. These are all inherently insecure, and a lot of the vulnerabilities take advantage of the fact that most of these features are turned on. So what Cisco has done is they can harden their devices and they can turn these features that are less commonly used off, but still have them available to turn on in your environment if you need, right? So think of that always deny instead of always allow. So immediately coming out in the next couple of iOS XE versions, right? Insecure warnings. When you log into a switch, when you log into the Meraki dashboard, it's going to point out you have these vulnerabilities, such as Telnet turned on, such as TFTP, such as the HTTP server turned on, right? Giving you those informations or any kind of ciphers you have, so you know what you need to fix. And then once that's been fine-tuned, once customers are used to that, Cisco's plan is to secure by default. Turn those technologies off. Turn Telnet off. Disable Telnet out of the box. So it's no longer your responsibility to make sure you have that turned off to secure. You now, if you want to use that, you have to implicitly turn it on so you know that and make sure that you secure it that way. And then further down the line, remove those technologies completely, because in most organizations and most networks today, those aren't needed anymore. Those are features, right? You should be SSHing instead of telnetting. You shouldn't be copying things via TFTP or FTP, right? You should be using SFTP. There's no real reason with the cloud management or Catalyst Center to go to to have the web server on the switch, right? So building that resilient, secure by default infrastructure out of the box to help secure your network and take one less thing off your plate to worry about. And then talking about Cisco firewalls on secure routers. This solves a couple different problems. One, it allows us to put a firewall at the site with an increase of SD-WAN type technologies, being able to have redundant internet for voice traffic, redundant internet for student information systems, redundant internet for ticketing systems, right? You're getting more and more redundant internet that's not technically SD-WAN, but you're still introducing additional traffic into a branch that may not have been there before. So being able to use these secure routers with the firewall, like the Meraki EMX technology built into the firewall in the Meraki dashboard, you're able to have that one policy to set those policies across here and apply those, again, wherever the traffic is, wherever the users are in that distributed environment, while managing it from a centralized policy. Let's talk about some new products that launched at Cisco Live to really power a lot of this AI agentics they talk about, AI technology, AI ready infrastructure. So what does an AI ready infrastructure and network modernization looks like, right? So when you're planning your network modernizations over the next 3 to 5 years, what do we want to look at? Cisco smart switches, higher performing switches, security baked in, Wi-Fi 7, being able to deliver your clients where they're at with the latest wireless technology with the latest throughput. Secure routers, integrating routing, firewall, SD-WAN, collaboration, all into one device to give you a more secure environment. Industrial connectivity. We don't typically think about public sector organizations having an industrial connectivity, right? You're not running warehouses, you're not running operations floors, you're not running manufacturing floors. However, you have that industrial connectivity needs in your environment, whether it's transportation, whether it's public safety, police cars, light switches, public Wi-Fi, stadiums. We still need a need for hardened platforms to extend your environment while also being part of your greater network and not having to maintain two different product categories, two different product manufacturers to meet those industrial hardened needs. And then moving to a cloud managed infrastructure. And again, this is unified operation against across your campus, branch and beyond. And this can be a private cloud using something like Catalyst Center or a public cloud using something like the Meraki dashboard. So some of the innovation that Cisco announced in new products is a new class of smart switches. Smart switches were announced last year for the edge. Some new Cisco routers we'll talk about. Premium outdoor Wi-Fi 7 patches a big hole that has been in the Cisco product line for the past year. And then that industrial core routers for that transportation, for those needs where you need routing, where you need security, but you have low power, harsh environments, things like that. So starting with the expansion of the 9350 smart switch line. So the 9350 was announced last year with a couple different SKUs and port configurations. This year they're launching more SKUs, more port configurations, right? Higher throughput, more PoE, different port types, intelligent intercity efficiency, being able to host applications on these switches like Wireshark or things like that. So expanding that 9350 line to complement what was in the 9300 line to make sure we have all your port needs and you can standardize on one platform for stacking for power, things like that. And then introducing the 9550, which fills a hole in that fiber aggregation that the 9500 was currently serving, but brings a lot of those innovations from the 9350 smart switches to that fiber aggregation line to give you that higher performance, that integrated security, mesh firewall, higher port densities, different port types, right? To really meet all your needs for that core and fiber aggregation connectivity that you're going to see as you see more and more AI adopted through the environment, more and more traffic traversing your network. And then premium outdoor Wi-Fi access point. Cisco did not have a Wi-Fi 7 access point for outdoors for the past year. They've launched the 9177, which is available in internal, external, directional antennas, has built-in ultra-reliable wireless broadband for meshing technology, and mix and match of antenna models for for the external antennas, but really gives you the design for those demanding outdoor environments because citizens in cities, more and more public Wi-Fi is being needed. More and more education environments are moving to outdoors, are moving to open spaces, right? So it's proliferation of Wi-Fi in these open spaces. Wi-Fi 7 is important because you can take advantage of the 6 gigahertz, the meshing technology, all of that that's better served with an outdoor access point. And then the 8000 router series that has that built-in firewall capability, has the ability to run the Meraki MX firewall code on it, right? One of the big holes in the Meraki line was their firewall. They maxed out at 4 gig. With these new devices, we're able to extend that MX technology, that MX security that everybody loved, the simplified security onto devices like these 8000 series routers and give you that greater than 20, greater than 30, throughput with a firewall at that edge while still having that unified policy like we talked about before. And then the Cisco IR1000 rugged series router, right? So this is for those cars, for transportation, for buses, for low power environments, for light poles, traffic switches, things like that. Low power requirements, sub 5 watt on a solar panel, running on battery power, but still has the power and the throughput to protect you from quantum attacks, from other SD-WAN type attacks, all built into one box that can be managed with Cisco Cloud Control and giving you that unified management as well. And another thing they announced was the cloud migration incentive. Over the past 7 to 10 years, there's been a lot of investment in Cisco Catalyst switches, in DNA licenses. A lot of that have gone unused because customers don't necessarily have the size or the bandwidth to run a DNA center or run a Catalyst center. And they didn't want to go with the full Meraki cloud management. Well, as part of that, because all these licenses are sitting out there and unused, and Cisco wants you to see the value and take advantage of the benefits of cloud control of the Meraki dashboard, any user with a active DNA license as of today can migrate that and convert that to a 3-year Meraki cloud license to bring your Catalyst 9000 switches into the Meraki dashboard, bring your access points to the Meraki dashboard. Nothing new to purchase, nothing new to, no process to go through. It's all automatic. You just have to start working through and registering those to the Meraki dashboard. We'd be happy to help you here at MGT to get those in those Meraki dashboards so you can start taking advantage of some of the AI that they talked about here and some of the innovation that they launched in Cisco Live, but more importantly, giving you the visibility and control into those switches you may not have today. So some of the announcements, the security announcements that stood out at Cisco Live this year, right, is Cisco Live Protect. That's where we talked about that real-time zero-day vulnerability patching when CVEs come out, being able to make that minor code shift to turn off and protect yourself from any vulnerability. The new products that are coming out that will have built-in security at their heart, firewall on those secure routers, right, integrating that firewall capability at the edge where the users are, secure campus architecture, building a unified policy enforcement across your entire network without having to rewrite a security policy depending on the technology. And then that OT segmentation, being able to deploy industrial strength switches that fit within your environment, in your management platform, can understand your security policies and being able to isolate those devices from your network as well. So what do these announcements mean for you, and what do we encourage you to do? So evaluate your AI-assisted opportunities. We're not here to advocate or to preach to let AI run over and take over your network, but see where in your environment, like a lot of you are probably doing now in your day-to-day tasks, where can AI help you on your network in your technology to help you accelerate the incident response while removing tasks from your plate? Review infrastructure modernization, right? When was the last time you put new switches in? When was the last time you put new access points in? For K-12 education, now's a good time to start looking at what my E-rate dollars can be used for and where can we be ready for. Strengthen your security architecture. We do this all the time, almost every customer call I'm on. This is something we talk about, and I would reference you back to our simplified security webinar we did a couple months back, is embed that identity, segmentation, zero trust directly into your network. Find the easiest things that you can tackle today to secure your network, even just a little bit more than it was yesterday. Take those little wins, and those little wins will build into a more secure network down the line. Simplify your hybrid operations. Stop using multiple tools. Consolidate your tools as much as possible. Adopt a unified management platform across all your technologies in your environment. And then last but not least, I'm sure you're hearing this from your leadership as well, prepare for future AI initiatives. We don't know what AI is going to bring tomorrow. We don't know what AI is going to bring a year from now. So be prepared for whatever AI initiatives are out there and make sure you have the network, the throughput, the policy, the security in your network to be ready for those changes as they come in your environment. So we hope that this was a valuable webinar for you and provided the information from the Cisco Live. If you weren't able to attend or weren't able to capture all the information there, we'd love to have us sit down and have another chat with you. Dive a little deeper into anything piqued your interest. please reach out to your local account manager or techsolutions@mgt.us, and we'd be happy to come in and give you a more in-depth, discuss, demo, proof of concept, anything we talked about in this presentation today in your environment and how it can apply for you.